Hey, welcome everyone. In this video, I'm talking about the dangers of backing up your data to the cloud, and that's your only solution that you have. Now, if you want to see the written version of this video, you can find a link to my website in the video description. And on my website, I'll have links to all the source articles that I'll be referencing and showing throughout this video. So I'm not saying you shouldn't use the cloud to back up your data. What I'm trying to say is that if that's the only method that you have, you're in danger of having your data permanently gone. And I'll give you some real life examples of which has happened. So I'm going to go through these examples and then I'll give you some advice on what you can do to approach a better method instead of what happened to some of these folks. So why is this important? So for a lot of folks, you might have their original YouTube video backups like me. Although my channel kind of sucks, it's, so it's, I guess, not a big deal. People don't really care that much if I have the original data or not, and it goes kaput. But for me, my home videos and pictures are the most important piece of data I have. And for these folks, let's get into it. And in some cases, might be more financial incentive. Maybe you're a contractor, you run your own business, and you put all your data in the cloud. It can have a financial impact if it disappears. So let's dive in some into the real life examples. So there was a situation back in 2023. This was a huge deal in which Google Drive files just randomly started going missing with no method to recover the data. They were not in the bin or trash can, whatever you want to call it, in Google Drive. They just wiped out of the platform entirely. So people lost months worth of data. Google did address that they knew about the issue after many people started reporting the problem. And they said, hey, we have a kind of a partial fix for you. For those of you that use the Google Drive application on the computer, you can use it to kind of try to see if you can sync files offline, online, and it'll brute force a sync for files to kick back in. Except this is not going to help people who don't use the Google Drive application on the computer and only use like the web browser. For example, that data cannot be recovered. So there was another issue which was huge. It was in the, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of value from a company called UniSuper, which I believe is Australia. So on Google Cloud's own official website, they did acknowledge this problem back in 2024. And if you scroll down a little bit to the TLDR, what they basically said is that during the initial deployment of Google cloud providers, the customer using an internal tool, there was an inadvertent misconfiguration of the GCVE services by Google operators due to leaving a parameter blank. So then they're openly stating that Google technicians made this mistake and wiped out the data, but it gets worse than that. This had unintended and unknown consequences of defaulting the customer's GCVP private cloud to a fixed term with automatic deletion of the period. This incident triggered the downstream behavior of both corrected to ensure that this cannot happen again. This incident did not impact any Google Cloud services other than the customers, but they sweep a lot of the information that's key to this under the rug. So, if you go down to the recovery, they say, hey, they work 24/7 with the customer. And how did they fix the problem? Data backups that were stored in Google Cloud storage in the same region were not impacted by the deletion, along with third-party backup software were instrumental in aiding the rapid restoration. So if you go to a news article outlet, which is not going to be unfiltered and biased in Google's favor, they're going to list what actually happened. And it wasn't Google that helped save the day. They just made the problem. They didn't fix anything. While UniSuper normally has duplication placed in two geographies to ensure that if one service goes down or is lost, it can be easily restored. So basically they have data duplication across two geography points. However, because the fund's cloud subscription was deleted, it caused deletion across both geographies. So Google actually deleted their entire Google Cloud account and all subsequent services under that, no matter where it was in the world. UniSuper was able to eventually restore the services because the fund had backups in place with another provider. So basically, Google's like, yeah, we assisted 24/7 trying to remediate the issue, except they didn't do anything. They couldn't. They permanently deleted the entire Google account and all subsequent products and services under it, no matter where it was physically located in the world. So all data backups with Google, UniSuper's data was gone forever because they terminated the account. UniSuper was able to fix the issue because they had data backups with another provider somewhere else. Google didn't help fix the issue. They couldn't. They literally couldn't. So the Google blog should be taken very lightly. Shifting over to OneDrive. So this is a one-off situation, okay? And the next two, I'll admit, they're one-off situations, but it's interesting that you take this as a word of caution and lesson learned. A user says access to 30 years of photos and work in OneDrive denied by Microsoft, can't get a response after filing 18 forms. They lost 30 years of data. They backed up all their 30 years of irreplaceable photos into Microsoft storage services. This is the problem with putting all your eggs in one basket. Okay, in UniSuper's case, thankfully they had backup somewhere else. They were ready for that type of situation. This, of course, is just bad practice on this end user, whoever it may be. Basically, they tried to reach out to Microsoft numerous times and they got no human contact, no actual help, just canned emails and radio silence, like automated responses. And eventually the data was basically terminated and the entire account was just blown away, including the 30 years worth of data. Now, there has been speculation from folks online, and I kind of agree with this, that maybe in that 30 years of data, maybe they uploaded some sort of copyrighted material, like a ripped movie or music, which, might not technically be illegal. Like if they had a DVD and they ripped it, they paid for the DVD and they ripped it and they put it in the cloud because they want to access it anywhere in the world. Is that illegal? No, because you own it. You're not sharing with anybody. I mean, that depends on the country you live in, of course. Laws vary. But machine learning is used on OneDrive services, as well as Google Drive for that matter, actually. And actually, more recently, they're using AI, which you can't remove, but that's for another topic. We're focusing on data availability, not data privacy in the cloud. That's a whole different topic. I think I'll make a video on that because data privacy in the cloud is horrible. Anyway, and people suspect there was something in there that triggered an account lockdown. But what's inexcusable is that Microsoft refused to even talk to this person, for paying for the service. What's the point? In fact, in my experience working in an enterprise environment with a $100 million company, getting Microsoft support in an enterprise agreement was horrendous. They can never fix the issue, even for the most basic stuff. Trust me, it's just not good. Another situation more recently, this is actually what triggered the cause for this video because it's posted as of August 2nd, was AWS deleted my 10-year account and all data without warning. So again, this is a one-off situation. Not that's happened widespread, although according to this very lengthy post this person posted, they have reached out to other people on Reddit, and it seems to be that these AWS account deletions happen in random patches and pockets of people, not widespread at the same time. So you can probably do your own research and look for that. I did find a lot of posts especially on Reddit, where people were like, my data and everything was just wiped out for no apparent reason. My account was just locked and all data gone. Again, this is another case of putting all your eggs in one basket. In fact, the blog post actually argues that before anyone says you put all your eggs in one basket, which I have to say this person did, let me be clear, I didn't. I put them in one provider with what should have been bulletproof redundancy. They have multi-region replication. Yep, okay. Dead man switches implemented for disaster recovery. AWS has that. Proper backup architecture in AWS own best practices. Okay, they also have that. Segregated encryption keys. Here's the problem. When you're paying a subscription service, I don't agree with this. This is all your eggs in one basket. When you're paying a subscription service, you don't own the service. You are renting it. You're paying a rental fee. You don't own it. You don't own the servers. You don't own the firewalls. You don't own anything. You're reliant on them actually upkeeping their word. Sorry, like I know it sounds really mean. I sympathize with this person, but you put 10 years of data, you didn't back it up locally. You put all your eggs in one basket. It's the equivalent of saying I put all my money, my physical money and jewelry, in one vault in a bank. But it was all stolen one day. My entire life savings in one vault. That's horrible. That's putting all your eggs in one basket. Put it in different banks. So if something ever happens, it's not completely gone. What if a tornado hits it or something? Like anything's possible. So basically this person went on the contractual obligations of AWS, because there are terms and services, there are SLAs and stuff, but that doesn't mean you have to upkeep it, and they locked out his account and everything kaput. According to this article, which is a little, take it with a grain of salt, because again, it's one person's opinion. However, what's interesting is that during that 20 days where this person is going back and forth and posting about it on the internet, they also wrote, after my story circulated and AWS Insider reached out, they were upset, leaving AWS soon, and wanted to share that they knew specifically because AWS depends on open source code I've written. According to them, AWS Meta was running on some kind of proof of concept or dormant and low activity accounts. Multiple accounts were affected, not just mine, and here's what gets technical, so on and so forth. They basically say that the data was deleted anyway, and there was no way to recover it, and AWS staff didn't know what to do, so they just kind of delayed things for 20 days and eventually just said, you know what, your account's locked out and everything's gone forever. Too bad, so sad. So what can you do? And I'll mention what I also do. There's a couple options here. Actually, 3 options. One is to use multiple cloud providers. So if you have your data, you put some of it in Google Drive, a little bit in Microsoft SharePoint, OneDrive, whatever you want to call it. And of course, you're in 2 separate services. So if your account gets locked out or deleted or data just disappears on one, it should be available on the other. Another option is to do a hybrid model. So you back up some data into a cloud service provider, whichever one it is, and then you have some hard drives, usually stored somewhere in your house or whatever. Or if you're an enterprise, it should be in your local data center, not in a closet. Please don't put in a comm closet. That's usually a bad idea. Another idea, the last one, which I typically do is just have pure local on-prem meaning on-premises hard drives. So I have my desktop computer behind me. I have three drives in there, one SSD for the OS and applications, one SSD for my YouTube videos that I'm going to edit and stuff and home videos, and a final third hard drive, which is just to dump data, like the completed home videos, for example. And then of course I have then an external bay hard drives. I think there's like 2 of them in there, which I'll back it up there again. Then I have the exact same thing, like almost, I think 4 hard drive bay external enclosure at my in-laws house. So if there's ever a fire at my house or flooding, rain, whatever, the data's stored at my in-laws house. It's always there. And I tend to back up the data there every month. I might actually take another step more soon, because I'm thinking that, you know what, my in-laws house is about 10 kilometers away from me. It's a good amount of distance, but if there's an off chance of a tornado here, which doesn't really happen in Southern Ontario, Canada, it's all gone. So I might just buy like a 2-3 terabyte drive, back up the data there, and then throw it into our bank vault, because we have a safety deposit box, which is pretty decent size, and drives are pretty tiny nowadays. So I used to use a hybrid model of cloud, OneDrive, and on-prem, so my external drives, but Microsoft, with their machine learning scanning your data, it's not very private, and then they introduced Copilot in there. All of them have pros and cons. Cost is one. You pay cheaper cost over a yearly period with cloud services, but to buy it on-prem, like a few drives and disperse them geographically, it's a more expensive upfront cost. But after a few years with cloud services, the cloud service becomes more costly than your initial drive purchase, because that just stagnates. It just stays there. So that's pretty much it. I hope you liked the video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe. It literally helps my channel go. And also maybe consider hitting the super thanks button just below this video. I have to do this on my own time after hours, and it's not a full-time commitment. And that's pretty much it. And thanks for watching.